Hi, I'm Jennifer Stevens, Vice President for Virginia Advanced Study Strategies. I'm here in Newport News today to talk to School Superintendent Dr. George Parker about how his school division is working with area employers and organizations to prepare his students for college and careers. So Dr. Parker, how long have you been in your position here at Newport News Public Schools?
Well, I reported on July 1st, 2018, so I think I'm in my 6th month here at Newport News.
And tell us a little bit about your background before coming to this position.
23 years as an educator in Virginia Beach City Public Schools. I've served as mostly secondary, as a math teacher, principal, and central office administrator, where I was the assistant superintendent for secondary schools, overseeing at one point all middle schools and high schools in Virginia Beach, before moving to Caroline County as the superintendent there for 3 years. And this is my first year here in Newport News.
Exciting. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about your school division? How many schools, how many students, the demographic profile of your community here?
Newport News is a very diverse school division. I would say roughly in the 60 percentile in terms of African American and 40% other races. We have over 40 schools, 28,000 students, 26 elementary schools, 4 centers. So it's a very large school division on the peninsula. And we're fortunate to have several magnet programs that support workforce development for students. We have an aviation magnet program, IB. We have a governor's STEM academy, governor's school. And so I think we're doing a very good job of giving students a wide variety of opportunities in Newport News. And I think our parents and our students are very proud of that.
That's wonderful. So surely you know about the new graduation requirements that went into effect recently and are all part of Virginia's profile of a graduate, which really signifies the knowledge and competencies a student needs to have to be successful after high school, whether it's in college or in future careers. So can you talk a little bit about how your school division is implementing profile of a graduate here?
Well, as a baseline across the Commonwealth, we all look at the Virginia Department of Education's profile of a graduate as a standard for incorporating the components of career readiness, college and career readiness, the 5 C's that are and citizenship that are incorporated in that profile. But we're going to go a step further in Newport News, and in the fall we will be developing the profile of a Newport News public school graduate. I feel that's very important as a community to look at the profile of a graduate in your own community. You serve a unique business community. Your community has set values in terms of the quality of education. And there may be specific programs and or competencies that the community has an interest in. I'll give an example of, let's say, a dual language student, where you would have a student who is fluent in at least conversant in 2 languages by the time they graduate from high school. While that's not in the Commonwealth's profile of a graduate, that may be of interest to a community. So we're going to take the effort, and also it's a great way to engage your community as well. We're going to take the opportunity to start working on a profile of a Newport News graduate in the fall as we develop our next strategic plan.
That's wonderful. Okay. So what skills do you feel are most important for students to be prepared for success after high school?
I would start with literacy. I would start with sometimes the oldies are the best. Mm-hmm. Having a literate society is important for college and career readiness. So when we look at the quality of education we're providing at the pre-K to 2 level, we obviously are focused primarily on learning to read and learning to write in the earlier grades. And then that slowly shifts to reading to learn as the student progresses beyond the 4th grade. But what happens when a student is not competent by the 3rd grade? And what we're finding in an area such as Newport News, where this is a very urban school division, where we have significant pockets of students who live at or near the poverty level. Literacy is very important to ensure that a student has a solid foundation, to ensure that we can maximize and provide an equitable opportunities for students. We have to ensure first that they are competent in reading and writing and have a strong background in math literacy in order to master the curriculum that we're providing.
Makes a lot of sense. What are some of the workforce needs in this region, and how do you feel you're preparing your students for those needs?
Well, as a region, obviously, we're a shipbuilding, tourism area in Southampton Roads, and Newport News in particular has one of the larger employers, which is Newport News Shipbuilding. With that being said, and one of our other larger employers is Riverside Health Systems. So we have to ensure that we have workforce development opportunities and credentialing opportunities that prepare students to enter the workforce directly out of high school if they choose to, in at least those larger for those larger employers that we have in this region. So if I had to put any items at the top, I would definitely put the trades, but I would add welding, pipe fitting, electricians, plumbing. But then you get into some of the higher skilled positions also, STEM related experiences that we need to expose our students to. And then the health services field. We do have a health sciences mag that I may have forgot to mention that earlier. Also, that we feel adequately prepares students for entry level work as well as secondary education in the health sciences field. So we need to continue to align the workforce development opportunities that we have with our larger employers and continue to prepare students for employment in the regions that they work in.
Tell us how you have leveraged partnerships with businesses or higher education entities or maybe community organizations to basically minimize or eliminate barriers in the talent pipeline in this area.
Well, we're fortunate to have a regional workforce development organization, New Horizons, which serves 6 school divisions in this region, which allows us to have some consistency in the quality of technical education that we provide our students and access. But going a step further and engaging our business community, we do that primarily, one, through our education foundation, but also through our Chamber of Commerce, looking for areas where they can partner with us and provide opportunities. We're just at the point right now where we're looking to expand our opportunities for apprenticeships and internships for students, job shadowing. And we're going to have to rely on our business community to partner with us to do that. So we've made some initial efforts with submitting grants to support workforce development programs that align well with Newport News Shipbuilding. We've also worked with our local community college system, Thomas Nelson Community College, to look at entry-level trades programs that they have and to allow seamless access for our students in some of their courses, such as welding or pipe fitting, which we feel will give our students outside who are not attending New Horizons expanding opportunities for those students while they're still in high school.
Very good. Many administrators believe that the traditional high school model is outdated and it's really not designed to prepare students for success to be globally competitive in tomorrow's workforce. So why do you think high school transformation is important?
Well, traditional high school, when you say traditional high school, you're assuming the student is still going to be engaged with the academic program and the high school curriculum up until the 12th grade, and that's no longer necessarily the case. Students, and in many cases, some students can meet their high school graduation requirements as early as the 10th grade, since we're offering high school credit now at the middle school level. So we have to offer more to students that will prepare them for college and career while they're in high school. And it's a very competitive world now. The jobs there's a shift now between the types of jobs that students will have and in the next 20 to 30 years. So impacting the high school curriculum needs to prepare students in the 5 C's. They need to be more competent in things such as communication, collaboration, critical thinking, problem solving, and we always will have an interest in building strong citizenship and leadership in our community. So service learning, opportunities for service learning, opportunities for students to work with the diverse student population, opportunities for them to do research, but also to write well, to speak well, collaborate with other students is very important as they continue to matriculate through high school, because those competencies will transition not only to the workforce but also to any careers that they will have at the beyond post-secondary. I believe that the traditional schedule of high school is becoming somewhat obsolete, and that we now want to see students gaining some type of workforce experience during the instructional day, especially if their schedule allows for it.
Right.
We also understand the importance of online learning now. So does a student need to have a class schedule where they're physically sitting in a classroom to learn? We know the answer now to that question is no. There are opportunities that students can have online, which allows them to have more flexibility in their schedules to do other things as well. So I think we need to think beyond the traditional, beyond the scope of the traditional school day in terms of extended learning, and expanding opportunities for students in the future.
Wonderful. In your opinion, what are the challenges for teachers and administrators in terms of redesigning high school and offering some of those things that you just spoke about?
Well, the primary challenge, and I think hopefully we're breaking down barriers here, is obviously what our Commonwealth requires of us. We're set on what is a calendar school year, what is considered an instructional day. We have set guidelines that impact student attendance and what is considered the required amount of seat time necessary to get a high school credit. So we have limitations even in our assessment schedule as far as with standard SOL testing. What we consider as an adequate means of sharing knowledge attainment. Mm-hmm. So with those type of limitations that we continue to have in front of us, it really impacts the scope of what type of transformation you could have. And you have to work within the context of the structure that you have. We've been fortunate a few years ago through the Commonwealth's Innovation Committee to put recommendations forward that allowed the level of flexibility for schools to make modifications to their instructional programs, to the school calendar schedule, what was the instructional day, to allow the flexibility for schools to really innovate around their instructional programs and opportunities for students. And that's what it's going to take in order for us to continue to transform public education.
Definitely. Outside of funding, what's one resource you believe your school division needs to ensure success with all these things that you've spoken about today?
We need committed partners. And I think we need to continue to engage our business community and our elected officials to ensure that we are working well together to develop a vision for the future, not only for the Commonwealth, but also for our localities.
Right.
And I think that will allow us to expand opportunities for students and to pool our resources to enable our students to have better learning experiences within the school divisions that they attend. I think that the alignment with the business community is probably, if I had to put something at the top of the list, it's probably the most powerful and impactful thing that we could do in public education today to ensure that we're preparing students for a brighter future.
Right. Well, what advice can you provide other school divisions that are maybe just beginning the phases of preparing students to be really future ready?
My advice would be to assess the quality of what you're already offering. Now start there. Start with the quality of what you already what you're already doing, and build on the momentum of things that are working well for you. I think that has been my approach as a superintendent. In my experience as a superintendent, that sometimes you're doing some things that are very, very well. You may have a program that is providing adequate credentialing opportunities for their students, and exposing them to real world experiences necessary that will lead to employment. Are they working with industry standard equipment?
Right.
Does the instructor have the adequate training and/or qualifications necessary to teach that curriculum that is relevant in today's industry?
Right.
Or do they need to go back and get more training?
Right.
So I think assessing the current programs that you have and ensuring that they're relevant, that they lead to employment in the regional market where you're living, and then building on that is the first place you should go. I think our Commonwealth is very structured in that we before we bring on new CTE programs, we have to assess whether there are jobs in that career pathway. And I think that's a very reasonable way to go about building CTE or career technical education programs in your school division. Does it align with your current employment market in some way, shape, or form? Also, is there student interest?
Right.
And do you have a competent instructor to teach the course? Do you have industry standard equipment and an adequate curriculum to provide those students the best opportunity to earn credentials in that area?